gun screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies, while the clock keeps ticking, empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the sand, standing on the ledge. No script, no leash, no polished choir. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the wire. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. Everybody's selling truth like a brand, buying opinions they don't understand. Talking in circles, screaming online. Keyboard courage, borrowed spines. Yeah, power plays dressed up as peace. Same old wolves with different teeth. But silence is loud when the house is burning. And the fuse is short, yeah, it's still learning. I don't dance for the left or the right. I stand in the heat, I stand in the fight. No strings, no chains, no manufactured choir. Just gasoline thoughts and an open lighter. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. The world's on tilt, pressure climbing. Truth don't whisper, it's perfect timing. You can't cancel the smoke, you can't stop flame. Say my name when it hits, say my name. Why? Say my name. Say my name. Fire don't ask permission. Fire don't need a side. Fire just shows up honest and exposes the lie. This is and I'll bring the fire. Truth is harder. Burn it down till what's real survives. No smoke, no mirrors, just heat and lies. And I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. American fire. Strike it. Let it speak.
Hi guys, and welcome to American Fire. I'm Ace. I will be your NPR voice today as I get through this long show, a couple hours of news and white pilling and red pilling, and using my NPR voice today due to my different microphone I have here at the lake. So I will be keeping it tempered, and yeah, we'll be listening to some classical music as we go through the Tucker Carlson and Anthony Fauci stuff that's happening right now. Anthony Fauci in contempt, and there will be some midterms updates as well. So please, if you would mind hitting that like and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. And please, bring your joy, your spiritual wellness into the chat. Let's all get along here. And if you're a troll, we'll have to let you go. No hard feelings, but we're gonna have to let you go because we just can't allow that disruption in the chat, because someone might get their feelings hurt. So thank you and welcome to NPR's version of American Fire today. What's going on, guys? Welcome. Hopefully the sound is a little better today. I left all the settings in place, toggled a little bit, tried to get it in a better place. Again, I'm without my mic. I'm at the lake, but wanted to just I thought it'd be fun to do my NPR intro for you guys. But man, we got a fun show ahead of us today, folks. Lots to get into, including we're going to start with Tucker's epic flop last night, which is absolutely hilarious after all the phagosphere built it up to be like the second coming of Jesus. Tucker's going out there. He's going to start a third party. That's absolutely hilarious. So we're going to get into that. We got all kinds of stuff on the midterms updates. Democrats are freaking out over Al Sayed becoming the nominee in Michigan. They know they've stepped in it, and it is a big problem for them. We got some Andrew Wilson on Rogan, how he just obliterated Candace. So we're going to get into that as well. So buckle up. Got a really good show today, guys. Gonna have a lot of fun today, and hey, it's a good time to not be blackpilling because we have some good stuff here. So I hope you guys are ready for it. So first of all, just welcome. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and let me get into the chat. Say hey to some people. What's up on Rumble? The Romes. We got Chrissy Katz, we got Pixel Snap, Brenda Joy, and holding it down over there on the Rumble. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Here on YouTube, we got Gen X MAGA. What's going on? Foundation Preacher, Sebastian Chose, Susan Road Less Travel, Great Fog, Donna M, Dabata, George Papa Nicola, one of the many, Kim Wiley, Build Fire for Christ, Nick Majors, Lerpticon, that's a new one, I like that, Henry Perez, J Tyrus, Golden Code, K Shuey, Threads, Sean Dugan, Taya Dye, Jesus Saves, Nick Majors, Marco Sanchez, Michael Richard, Beef Rockamore, The Wall, What to Do, Edwin Fried, Rockstar Steve, Jimmy Postel, Mad Clouds, and so many more. Welcome, guys. Thanks for watching today. I'd love to go through y'all, but we got stuff to get into. By the way, I just wanted to thank everybody. Your likes and subscribes are working. Last night, excitedly so, folks, the channel broke 40,000 subscribers. That is a massive milestone for me. Thank you so much. This year, at the beginning of the year, we started with 7,000 subscribers on my channel at the beginning of the year. So from 7,000 after 3 years streaming to now 40,000, I just cannot thank you guys enough. It is exciting to be growing. It's exciting to be here, and just thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. So let's. I did see a couple of things I wanted to get into real quick. People wrote me. By the way, guys, if you are watching, if you want to get my attention, please, the chat is getting bigger. That's part of the 40,000 subs. I used to be able to get to everybody. Now I cannot unless you tag me so I can see it. Or if you do want to support the channel, I'm a listener-supported channel, you can send a super chat and then other ways to support the channel, like be a member. So, but thank you guys. Let's see here. I wanted to see K Shuey's tried to send me a clip on X, but it wouldn't let me. That's strange. Usually there's no issues with that, but all right, something to look forward to. So that's good. Gen X Maga says need something to smile about today. I'm sorry, Jen. Sorry to hear that. I hope you're doing well, and hope your day gets better. Hopefully you can find some fun here in the today. We're gonna have fun today. You know, we're gonna laugh at some of the faggot retards, the podcast standards, especially Tucker. Mad Cloud says, I recommended you to a buddy that was blackpilling, never heard a logical alternative, brings receipts. He says you're a breath of fresh air. Well, glad to hear it. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you, Mad. Thank you for sharing that with me. That is why I do what I do. It makes it all worth it. Diane says, congrats. I've been telling everyone about you. Rich Does Politics. You do awesome work on the channel repeatedly on the best what's going on. Awesome. Awesome. Glad to hear it. You know, speaking of Rich, he's hosting me and Mike Steger in a conversation in 2 weeks. So we'll all be doing that together on Rich. It's going to be great. Going to be great. Very, very excited to do that. So, all right, guys. Well, here's the deal. I forgot my microphone, but remember my SF hat. Actually, if you're really paying attention, you'll notice this is a different SF hat. In fact, this is my original that I started streaming with 3 years ago. It is old, and that's why I brought it to the lake, because I don't care if it gets dusted up. So I'm wearing an OG Niners hat, and I didn't forget my mic. It's just that my microphone at home is attached to a boom, and it's a pain in the butt to move. So I didn't want to move it. And I thought that, you know, the webcam mic would suffice for just 3 days. And turns out I didn't prep for how sucky it was, but now we're in a better place. All right. So are you guys ready to get into that? Hit that like, hit the subscribe. And again, please tag me if you got questions, comments. I will stop in between segments to answer questions and comments, disagreements, all that stuff. As long as you're agreeable, as long as you're respectful, I will answer. I will work with disagreements. But yeah, in between segments, I'll talk to you guys. And again, any support of the channel, super chats, and memberships are welcome. Oh, look at that. I didn't have it pulled up. You guys ready? There we go. All righty. So let me take a little swig here. Not drinking beer right now. I had one, but it's early. It's early. Can't be going too crazy on the beer right now. That'll come later. And I'm sure you guys want to see. I was debating, real quick before I go. I was debating for Friday, being that it's at the lake. I'm at the lake right now till Monday. Well, actually, I'm here till Saturday, but on the show, it'll be Monday. My debate was this. Tomorrow, should I do like a more open-ended show? Lots of Q&A, stuff like that. I don't know. You guys think about it. Let me know. Colin Rack Talk says, found you through King Pill Discord. You and him should collab. Keep up the white pill. And I know I have a lot of good people referring me to King Pill. So I think at some point that'll definitely happen. It seems like inevitable at this point. I know I need a lavalier mic. I don't have a portable. You know what, guys? Before get going here, here's the deal. Okay, I don't have a traveling studio because this has been a hobby of mine until recently. Contrary to popular belief, we YouTubers are not banking. We're not crushing it financially, okay? I make enough to support my family, but I live paycheck to paycheck like most Americans. So we're not banking it over here. I don't have what I need every single situation. So I haven't built a travel studio yet. I just barely got done getting my home studio the way I wanted it. So, you know, it's all eventually. Okay, we'll all get there eventually. But just a heads up for those who keep bringing it up. And then finally, I have to answer this because it's about the Niners. Is it time to fire Kyle Shanahan? That is a crazy question. Why would you say that? Last year we were 12-5 with all kinds of injuries. We almost got the 1 seed. We won a playoff game. That was the greatest coaching performance in one single year that I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even joking on that. That's not even hyperbolic. Kyle Shanahan showed he's probably the best coach in the league last year. Why would we get rid of him? That'd be crazy. Get a decent sounding USB mic, small table stand. I know. Listen. Okay, we'll get there. All right, guys, we'll get there. Down the road. Alrighty. Okay, let's get into it. This is the second day in a row where the Griffin report is going to be the first report of the day. You guys excited about that? That is how bad it's gotten. And so we need to get into Tucker and his abomination last night. So we're going to talk about that because he built it up, and it's kind of hilarious what went down. I've been watching the fallout. Makes me so happy. Johnny Hinosa with a $2 super chat says Trump's Nevada speech was very 2016. It was, and we're going to talk about that in the midterm segment. Don't worry, we're going to touch upon it. So last night, Tucker Carlson, big deal. Now, I covered this yesterday. He'd made an announcement, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm blah, 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 coming out to the world after this picture of them all sitting at a table, all this rumors of him starting a third party, all this craziness. And then Tucker finally launched his show last night. And of course he did it just to his subscribers. But then if you waited 2 hours, you got it for free on X. Yeah. I think that there wasn't that many subscribers who tuned in. That's why you'd release it for free 2 hours later instead of 2 days later. Regardless, Tucker launched this, and he titled it, "Our Political System has Collapsed into Paralysis and Looting. Change is Coming. Here's what America should be." And Tucker proceeded to spend the next 100 minutes over an hour and a half, just ranting and raving at his view of America, and no mention of a third party. He completely chickened out and made no waves, but that didn't mean they didn't try. In fact, the whole sphere came up behind him. The whole grifter, Podcastistan, Faggoland came up and tried to make such a big deal of this. Like Owen Schroyer right here, a very powerful and sobering broadcast from Tucker. Keep in mind, a short time ago, Tucker was the top primetime show on Fox, and the views he expresses here would have been highly agreed upon by MAGA and conservatives alike. Tucker hasn't changed, MAGA has. That's one of the funniest things I've heard in a long time, that Tucker hasn't changed. And so, I mean, let's think about this. Tucker, 2018, he's a registered Democrat. 2020, texts, I hate Trump, glad he's gone. 2024, we need Trump to save the world. And 2026, Trump's the Antichrist. Are you serious? Tucker doesn't change? These people are such an absolute joke. But let's look at what Tucker covered last night. Here's his 10-point plan. Are you guys ready for this? This is deep stuff. Tucker really, he laid it out there. He gave us the inside track. He really laid out how to save our nation. Well, here we go. Number one, fair. This is so stupid. The same rules should apply to presidents, federal agents, and elites as Jeffrey Epstein, whose impunity Carlson casts is emblematic of an Epstein class enriching itself through a corrupt system. Okay, I don't think anybody disagrees with that, but how cheesy is it to just say, number one, fair. America, fair. I want to do my Tucker impression, but I'm pretty sure it'd blow out my mic right now because of the mic I have. Fair. I just think America would be better if it was fair. That's about as animated as it can get right now on this microphone. Next, sovereign. Carlson claimed Israel pushed the U.S. into Iran war through bribery, threat, or both. You're right. Every time a country smaller than New Jersey, with less than 100 years being on the world stage, and like 6 million people, every time a tiny little country like that has complete control over the whole world, we should be against it. I agree with that, Tucker. When a country that has about 1/100th of our GDP could blackmail us, could bribe us, when we literally lead the world economy. You're right. We probably shouldn't let that happen. But then again, if you believe it could happen, you're probably retarded. Just saying, Tucker. But you know what? Hey, I'm just a guy. I don't have a nice fancy website to talk to people like Tucker does, and a whole bunch of grifters support me. Productive. America should rebuild farming, manufacturing, and craftsmanship while rejecting an economy dominated by finance, real estate speculation, surveillance systems, and weapons. You mean like the one Trump's building? Okay, let's all agree with that. Beautiful. Carlson alleged that urban planners deliberately uglified American cities and portrayed brutalist architecture, graffiti, public drug use, and violent crimes, deliberate attacks on the public. You're right. Trump's fixing that. Thank you, Tucker. Good job. Healthy. Carlson embraced RFK Jr.'s food agenda, called for universal sobriety. Universal sobriety. Are you just going to force people to not drink? Tucker, that sounds like communism right there. Can you force people to not drink, to not have a cigarette, to not smoke weed? Good luck with that. Good luck with that. That sounds communistic right there. And said widespread use of drugs such as Xanax, Adderall, and SSRIs had left Americans half-addled. We agree. But what are you going to do about it, Tucker? Cut these people off and kill them? Because that's what happens if you just jump off those things immediately to a lot of people. But hey, you know who else embraced RFK Jr. and his health agenda? Trump. Okay, MAGA. Still MAGA right now. Honest. Carlson argued having children is biological imperative and the foundation of long-term thinking, while blaming aging and childless elites for policies that disregard future generations. Okay, like Trump's doing all over again. Okay, this is really sound like a third-party ticket, huh? Optimistic. Carlson argued having children. Oh, we already did that one. Wise. Schools should teach how physical world actually works and what he called unchanging facts about human nature. Duh. Like Trump's doing? Okay. You can tell you're a hugely big Trump fan here, Tucker. decent. U.S. should apologize and pay restitution for killing non-combatants. Here we go. Restitution time. That's pretty communistic right there. Reverse Trump's Department of War rebrand and stop funding allies that commit what Carlson called genocide, citing Israel. Of course, Israel. Oh. And united. Carlson called for halting immigration. Halting immigration. Isn't Trump kind of doing that? He's severely limited it until the effects of AI become clear, ending benefits for undocumented immigrants and making English the sole language. Everything Trump's tried to do. So, Carlson, Tucker, how about, do you have policy ideas for any of this? This is like the most mundane, like just bleh thing I've ever heard. And this is what you built everything up for? You got the whole internet on fire for this? Pretty pathetic, although Megyn Kelly doesn't think so. As I'm not going to force you guys to listen to this because I know nobody wants to listen to Megyn Kelly vamp. But Megyn Kelly, talking to Mark Halperin, of course, overjoyed Tucker might start a new America First party because he's so disgusted by how things are going in the country right now. If this happens, the woke right will take portion of votes away from Republicans, split the vote, hand power back to Democrats, 100%. But they're all out there celebrating. This is great. This is the greatest thing ever. I mean, oh my God. Owen Schroyer, sobering broadcast from Tucker. Well, okay. If you think these things are sobering and anything new, okay. But this is the big push right now, right? Thank God that we got a extremely, and I mean extremely based breakdown of this from, you guys ready for it? Drum roll. Nick freaking Fuentes. You guys know how I feel about Fuentes. I have my own issues with Fuentes, 100%. But Fuentes watched Tucker's little speech last night, and I'm not gonna lie, Fuentes might have had the best rant on this I've heard. Here's Fuentes breaking down exactly how impressed he is with Tucker's speech last night.
And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Tucker Carlson's huge announcement tonight. Did you catch it? Yes, Tucker baited everybody into watching his show tonight because he basically hinted yesterday at a third-party launch or some kind of presidential run. We all saw the photo yesterday. Tucker Carlson hosted Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Joe Kent at his family barn in Maine. And him, Greene, Kent, and Massie teased what might have been, could have been the launch of an America First third party, or maybe even a presidential run or some kind of political project. He said he had a big announcement about that today, at 7 o'clock. And he put out the show. And the big announcement was not a third party, wasn't a presidential campaign. It was a 10-point plan to get America back on track. And I don't know if you watched this, but I did. I watched all 1 hour, 40 minutes of this monologue, 1 hour, 40 minutes of this announcement. What a load of garbage. Just a load.
Again, you guys know how I feel about Fuentes. You can't trust this guy at all. But the hilarious part is that when when he is tearing apart their whole grift, okay, Fuentes, obviously, he's in the point of like, I'm just building myself up right now. I'm going to do my thing. I'm getting my payments, whatever, for my thing. But the Tucker, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Joe Kent, Massie stuff is so pathetic right now that even Fuentes, who's his own kind of grifter, is tearing him apart. And he's doing it hilariously. This is just great. This is great stuff.
Load of hot garbage. And I went into it objective. I went into it thinking I might have to support this. Thinking they might leave me with no choice based on what they present. I might have to just get in line and support this as the closest thing to our vision for 2028. So I really went into it objectively and with an open mind, even though I'm clearly biased. I have a personal beef with Tucker and I disagree with him ideologically. Nevertheless, I gave it a shot. I watched the whole thing. And would you like to know what the 10 points are? Well, the 10-point plan is not really a plan at all. They're not even points. It's more like a 10-adjective list.
100%, as we just went through. I couldn't believe how base this was coming from Fuentes.
It's not even a list of points. There are no points being made. It's not a political program. It's not a doctrine. It's not a plan, because there's no information. There are no calls to action, no action items. There's not even really any ideas. The 10-point program, which he teased yesterday, baiting us into watching this slop by pretending he was going to launch a third party, it is quite literally a list of adjectives, specifically big political buzzwords. So what do I mean by this? I sat through an hour, 45 minutes of this. The first point in the 10-point plan, fairness.
He's so right. It's just a bunch of adjectives and political words. It's just a big nothing. And it just shows like how it's even Nick Fuentes cannot believe how little substance Tucker has. This is, by the way, why am I showing you guys this? Because you guys know I don't like Fuentes, what he stands for. I think overall he's a major detriment to what we're trying to accomplish. He's a grifter in his own right, 100%. I acknowledge all of that. Why would I show you guys this though? Because it shows you how pathetic they are. How pathetic Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Joe Kent. Remember they had this big dinner together, Thomas Massey. This whole grift, the thing they're trying to push for 28. Owen Schroyer, Dave Smith, they're all jumping in on this. We got to do this third party, all getting excited about it. But it's so vapid and soulless and without substance that even Nick Fuentes is like, are you guys serious? Like put up some real effort. Like, do something. But it shows you they have nothing. They have nothing, which I'll show you more of in a minute. But let's finish this.
Fairness is the first point. You want to know another one? Health. Health is another point in the 10-point plan. How about another? Unity. Unity. These are 3 out of the 10 points in the 10-point program. Health, unity, fairness, honesty, decency, beauty, productivity. I'm not making this up. I'm not making it up. It's not a joke. These are the 10 points in the 10-point plan. And here's what doesn't work. Let me tell you what doesn't work. It doesn't work when you make your entire shtick that you're a plain-spoken, no-nonsense, straight-shooting, folksy, in the woods guy like the rest of us, and then your political project is all focus group tested rhetoric. That's what does not work.
He's 100% right. He's 100% right. It was just like, I couldn't believe I was listening to this out of Nick Fuentes. I just couldn't believe it. He nailed it. He nailed it. He can't come across the way Tucker and all that want to come across and just spew the most like just generic crap. And that's what Tucker built this all up to be. And this was going to be like the big shift. Honestly, guys, I really truly believe that this was the buildup. This is the test of what they have for 2028, because they are wanting to build something. It's no coincidence that all this keeps being spun around, all these and whispered, that people keep speaking this out. What they're testing, though, is who can create the most chaos? Who is the one who has the biggest following? This was a test. Tucker put this out there to see what it would do, and it's failed spectacularly. King Pilled, who everybody tells me I gotta get together with, put this out, which was great. He said, listening to Tucker's big live announcement before going live with the live tonight, it's rough, man. Parties are on big issues, identical. We got confirmation of that about February 28th. That's the day we attacked Iran. We experienced the biggest disappointment in all of American politics for the past 100 years. Do you guys think the attack on Iran was the greatest disappointment in American politics in 100 years? I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm out of touch. I don't know. So if Trump's opponents really oppose what he's doing, they would be taking to the streets and marching for peace, but they're not, because they're not against it. It says there are no political solutions to anything in any system. And then finally it says, if you want to change the society, you definitely need more parties on the ballot. After 45 seconds, we're saying there's no political solutions. Just an absolute joke. But here's the meat of it all. Okay, after all this buildup, after all the influencers, Tucker tonight. Watch Tucker. This is amazing. This is sober. This is incredible stuff. We have to listen. After all that, they couldn't even get it trending on X. Is America First Insight right? He's so important. Searching Tucker and latest shows no one posting what he's saying right now. All of that, and you couldn't even get it trending on X. Hey, tell me again how you guys matter, cause you don't. You really don't matter. That they believe that they are, because they're in this bubble that's supported by bots, it just uplifted to make them feel more important than they really are. They have influence, and now they're learning the truth. They don't, but it's not going to stop them. Marjorie Taylor Greene went off this morning, I should say, says if you're a conservative political commentator or conservative media and you're calling out how bad affordability is, you're calling out neocons, but unwilling to acknowledge and name Republicans in charge right now, unwilling to call out President Trump, then you can't be taken seriously. That's from the woman who quit. It's from the woman who was voted on by her constituents to make a difference, to make some votes, to try to impact Congress, and who quit a year in, 5 days after she qualified for her pension, and then she moved to Costa Rica to a $5 million mansion. This is the woman telling us you can't be taken seriously. And you might want to wake up reality. Trump won't be in office much longer. Don't make me name names. Future is ours. Trump is the past. Future is yours, huh? How's that working out for you? Well, let's go back to Fuentes one more time here, because Fuentes kind of lays it out what the future is, calling them out directly by name.
UW sent $150, was going to send $150 to MTG now that she's advertising on Cameo for $150, smirking face emoji.
Hey, thank you for the big super chat. Dude, she's on Cameo. It's crazy. Oh, it's so embarrassing. It's like, you look at that. That is the movement. In 2016, it was Donald Trump. Remember Donald Trump from...
Remember the other day, Rich Barris posted that that Tucker is exactly where Trump was in 2016. Exactly where Trump was in 2016. And we all laughed about it because I broke down how ridiculous that is. And here's Nick doing the same thing, comparing how stupid these people are to where Trump was in 2016.
That is the movement. In 2016, it was Donald Trump. Remember Donald Trump from Celebrity Apprentice and Home Alone 2 and, the billionaire celebrity with his name on skyscrapers? He's an A-list celebrity. #1 show on cable. And now the coalition is Marjorie Greene, Thomas Massey, Joe Kent. I mean, none of these people even win elections. Joe Kent lost twice. Thomas Massey lost his election. Marjorie Greene, she became very unpopular because she sold out with Kevin McCarthy. And she probably wouldn't have survived a primary challenge either, would be my guess.
All of it's true.
I mean, these people are just so uninspiring. It's like a jilted MAGA mom, a libertarian, some Fox News expat, Joe Kent, who is just like what even is he? He has no personality. He's a CIA spook. That's just absurd. Now she's on Cameo. Okay, there's we're taking the country back. Isn't this inspiring? 150 on
Joe
Cameo.
Mars 97 cent $20.
Joe Kent's no possible personality. He lost 2 elections. He's right about all of it. I cannot believe. I am so in agreement with Nick Fuentes right now. Now listen, Fuentes is going to say something 5 minutes later that pisses me off. But the point is, he nailed it. And if he is destroying these people, if he's mocking them, the left, they're never going to gain traction on the left. You can't gain traction on the left. The left never forgives. And never forgives, never forgets. So once you lose the left, once you're on the other side, they're gone forever. Okay? So who is their opportunity to grab? It's independents, it's the groypers, it's those who might have leaned to the right, maybe voted for Trump and are disappointed, listen to people like Fuentes. That's it. That's it. That is their one shot to get 3 to 5% of the vote and destroy 28. And yet Nick Fuentes is mocking them. And so for these people who are who think they're so important. Well, favorability ratings from the latest YouGov poll, which is a left-leaning poll, has Tucker at 18% favorability rating and Marjorie Taylor Greene at 20%. And these are supposed to be the big people who are going to defeat us, who are going to start a third party, and it's going to be extremely successful. This is a complete abomination. They are. It's like the exposure here. It's so pathetic. It's so pathetic. But you know what they're going to do when they finally make their full move? These grifter retards, when they finally make their full move, guys, you know what they're going to do? They're going to blame their losses on AIPAC. That's exactly what they're going to do. But the problem is as Ombre says here, calling on Massey supporters explained how the all-powerful Jewish lobby money only worked against him but couldn't stop Abdullah Sayed, Donovan McKinney, William Lawrence, Daria Lisa Chevalier, Brad Lander, Milak Kuros, or Claire Valdez, all the DSA. How did if AIPAC is all powerful, how did these people win? It's a great question. Listen, we're going to have to go through a lot more of this going forward. And honestly, the best antidote to these guys is mocking them, showing how ridiculous they are, calling out their BS, showing how they're lying, all of it. Because these people are losers. Every single one of them. Lost his primary overwhelmingly, lost 2 elections and quit. Tucker fired multiple times, and now his network isn't performing as well, jumping back and forth. Marjorie Taylor Greene quit. The losers. A bunch of losers trying to tell us who Trump should be, what MAGA should be. And the thing is, they're narcissists. They have no idea just how out of touch they are. But I'm telling you, they've already lost Nick Fuentes and the Groypers. If you lose them, you're in big trouble going forward. This little movement, it's already failed, and it's not going to gain anything come 2028. So good job, Tucker. You really did it. Yeah, you really did it. You already proved to us that you guys can't win anything, and that's a good place to be for the rest of us. But we're going to continue to laugh at you along the way. All right, guys, hit that like and subscribe. Going to get into a midterms update next. Lots going on, including the Democrats absolutely in a massive panic over everything coming out over Abdul al-Sayed. Yeah, it's propaganda. They want you to believe the opposite of reality. I'm going to get into the chat for a couple minutes here, answer any questions and comments directed at me that I can see, especially if I was tagged. So let me take a minute to do that, and then we'll get on to the next segment. I did see it. Somebody tagged me here. Where is it? Violence Poetry says, Tucker's little list wasn't even a plans, vague objectives, no listed strategies or policies, just this is what we want and how to get as a shrug. And you know what? That's what communists do. That's what Democrats do. It's all the same game. It's always the same game because they just promise you free stuff, right? So that's how they get elected. Fuentes is a member of Tucker. I guess so, unless he waited for the free version 2 hours later. Look at a war crime report on Pentagon pedophile task force website. Huh. All right, I'll check that out. Probably when I get back from the lake, I have more time. Diane says, Tucker, Megan, MTG, Massey, Kent, Alex Jones, Schroyer, all rejected by a MAGA. These people have no loyalty. They only care about stuff. I mean, here's the thing. They all rejected us. See, MAGA is pretty forgiving. MAGA is a pretty big tent when you're aligned, when you're trying to push the objectives forward. But when you quit, or when you try to betray us or betray Trump, yeah, then we're like, good riddance. But they left us. They left us. Never see MTG and Vince Neil in the same room. Good Spirit, read your chirp. I think your chirp disappeared, friend. Let me see if I can find it here. I'm not seeing it, bud. I don't see it. Need an AJ impersonation now. Oh, I think Tucker did a great job last night. Tucker really laid it out how we need to go forward in this because Trump has completely betrayed the base. I'm not gonna go much more into that. I gotta get really loud to be Alex, and it's not on this. It doesn't work well on this mic. All right. Well, let's get into this next thing, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, the Democrats are in a very, very bad place going forward, and they know it. They absolutely know it. And so the New York Times, okay, Ralph says it's hard to believe for me that Tucker turned out to be deep state. Ralph, all I would say is, why is it so hard for you to believe? Raised in D.C., the swamp, his father has CIA connections. They come from immense wealth that all came from being establishment folks. I just don't understand why it's so difficult to believe. Now, I get that Tucker was really good at communicating for a couple years during the Biden administration on stuff that sounded very good, MAGA-ish, and he did campaign for Trump and all that. That's all true. But when you look at Tucker's background, it makes absolute sense that he's deep state. 100%. In fact, it would be strange if he wasn't after you look at his background. So that's what I'd say to that. Diane says, I'm OG MAGA. When you betray Trump, MAGA cuts you off. Well, that's because Trump is MAGA. Trump is the leader. That's like being a Christian and, although this is an extreme example, but extreme examples are used to make a point. It's like being a Christian but saying, like, you disagree with Jesus. Okay? And I know it's not quite the same thing, but it's similar. Trump is the leader of the movement. He sets the tone. He is the reason we all galvanize behind him. And we also understand that even if we have disagreements with Trump, even if we don't like what he did, if you fight him, you're hurting the movement because he's the only thing we have moving us forward. So there's ways to disagree with Trump without going against MAGA. And it's about learning how to do that. Okay. And basically the main thing is like we all have to realize the war we're in, fighting forward. There's time for disagreements later, but you think they'll get al-Sayed out? I don't think they will. I don't think they can. And this is one of the reasons they're freaking out. This is one of the reasons they're really scared. But let's talk about how scared they are, shall we? So after the primary Tuesday night in Michigan, al-Sayed won, and they tried to take it from him. As we saw, mail-in ballots came in overwhelmingly for Haley Stevens, and they couldn't pull it off. That's what the Democrats do. It's how they win elections. When they're losing them, they flip it with the mail-in ballots, and they couldn't pull it off. And so now we're on the other side of it. al-Sayed is now the candidate in Michigan, and Mike Rogers, the Republican candidate, is now favored to win. And Democrats are freaking out as the DSA, aka the communists, continue to outwardly take over their party and show the world what the Democrats are really about, which is the worst thing that can happen to them. And now, even the New York Times, the big talking head hub of the Democrats, with their news of record, with their propaganda arm, even they are forced to report that there is a civil war going on inside the Democratic Party, and the timing could not be worse for them. As the New York Times reports, moderate Democrats, how many moderate Democrats are even left? It means establishment Democrats, so let's correct that for them. Establishment Democrats prepare for war against an ascendant left. We're preparing for the next war. It's coming, said Jonathan Cohen, President Third Way, revealing a new $15 million effort through 28 to discredit democratic socialism. You see this, guys? They are now finding ways to fund their own war within their party. You guys are blackpilling? Their fear, El Sayed is paving a path for a progressive to seize the party's 28th presidential nomination and lose the general election. It's deeply troubling to see radical far-left candidates winning in places of potentially presidential swing states. I told you guys, I've been saying this since the spring. In fact, I've been saying it since last November when Mom Donnie won. This is awful for the Democrats. The DSA communist takeover is horrible for them. It's so bad for them. And it's becoming, the more power these people get, the more worried they're becoming. Because they know, listen, 90% of Democrats, 95% of Democrats in places of power all agree with these guys. They're all communists at heart. But you're not allowed to say it. They're not allowed to say it out loud. And that's what scares them, is these people are saying it out loud. Now, here's some of the panic going on because he performed horribly among black voters. If you perform horribly among black voters in Michigan, you're screwed, folks. You're absolutely screwed. Here's a little look at that.
Me one more time here, and I'll show you what the autopsy is telling us in Michigan, how the major college towns in that state voted. You ready? Here it is now. He won by 53 in Ypsilanti, 36 in East Lansing, 36, 31, 30, 28. That's a clean sweep, all right? What did she do with major black towns across the state? She won by 53 points, 49 points. 40 points, 37, 35, 31. There's a clear distinction here, gentlemen, between these two voting groups, at least this past week in Michigan. Mark Penn, how do you dissect these numbers right now?
Well, I would not confuse how the black community.
Me one more time here, and I'll show.
These numbers are horrific for Democrats because these black voters are either not going to. These numbers are horrific for Democrats. It's either black voters are not going to show up now in the general election, or they're going to vote for the other side. That's absolutely destruction for them. Now, the day after he comes in, all the Oppo research has started. Uh-oh. Look at this. New York Post reports far-left candidate Abdul Sayed took over 115,000 from members of Hamas-linked group. Uh-oh. This is going to end so badly for them. See, guys, if they don't win Michigan, that's a flip. That's already a blue seat. That's a flip for Republicans. This is basically killing their Senate chances. And you understand there's a drag-down effect on ballots. So if people are voting a Republican senator, they're also more likely to vote Republican House member. That's how it works. Or if they don't show up for the Senate guy, they won't show up for the House member. And that hurts Democrats going forward. Here's more. MS Now getting call-ins from Democrats who refuse to vote for this guy.
Spent 11-1 in this primary race. Republicans now see that as more winnable. This is the candidate they wanted. They're going to throw a ton of money at this to try to flip this seat. So I think people who are looking at this, particularly some Democrats who I've talked to, who are hoping that he will moderate some of his positions. I think one of the key ones to point to that he is not going to, you just heard him talking about Israel. And I want to tell you really quickly, as I was getting on the plane this morning, a guy who was a big fan of MS Now said to me, I'm anxious to see who wins. And I said, oh, did you vote? And he said, yes, I voted for Haley Stevens. And I said, oh, why? And he said, well, because of Israel, and I don't like the position that Abdul Sayed has on Israel. And in fact, if he wins, I will be voting for Mike Rogers. And you could not get more far apart, right, from two candidates than Mike Rogers and even Haley Stevens. But it's going to be interesting to listen to that because this has been a primary conversation within this campaign A campaign, though, that they clearly are celebrating. They have won. But let's be clear, while this is a...
Uh-oh. Can you hear the fear? They're very scared about this. I mean, here's another voter in Michigan.
Syed wins, I will not vote Democrat. I'll switch over, and I'll vote for a candidate with character, whoever that might be.
I expect Haley to prevail. And I'm very anxious about the socialist aspect of what Abdul and his supporters represent. I'm a liberal, but I'm not a socialist.
Syed wins.
Did you hear that? Very important phrase right there. A lot of these people feel that way. I'm a liberal, but I'm not a socialist. That is what scares the Democrats, guys. That's what really has them scared. And now it's coming out that he's been hanging out with Hassan Piker. Hassan Piker, who the Democrats are desperate to distance themselves from. Piker is a avowed communist, outspoken communist. He is very bad for their brand. And yet, Syed was hanging out with them.
It for one of the highest offices in the United States of America, bringing in this very controversial individual to campaign for him. Not only did he bring him in earlier in the campaign, Jake, he brought him in as his closer here in Michigan. You think about this, right? Elections are about choices. What is the message that you want to send to your voters, right? Mm-hmm. And Abdul al-Sayed chose to bring in Hassan Piker, not a Michigander, an outside podcast influencer who once said America deserved September 11. Just last week, he added a framed picture of the September 12 New York Times front page with the World Trade Towers burning in the background to show off on his Twitch stream. Yep. This is who Abdul al-Sayed chose to bring in for his clothes, right? It for one.
I love the smell of Democrat fear in the morning. Just being honest. I love the smell of it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Heading into the midterms, this makes me so happy. And we're getting more and more. This guy is going to be a real problem for them. He's going to be a drag on their going into the midterms, but he's not the only one. Remember, going back to last year, President Trump, his team were giddy about the fact that the communists were taking over the Democratic Party. Giddy about it. Why? Because Americans hate communism. They hate communism and they won't stand for it. And this is going to be the bringing down the Democratic Party. Here's more from Syed. Sounds like a great guy.
People aren't stupid. This politics of no translation is going to be the way forward.
No, for sure.
Money on politics, money in your pocket, Medicare for all. No one has to decipher what the hell that means.
That and I just want people to be like,
everything is people aren't stupid.
That's Syed with Piker. Abdul Syed supporters said voters are stupid, and Abdul and Hassan Piker nod in agreement. Yep, this is going out good for them. Real good for them. And why Syed is up there now. Here's Mamdani coming out. Remember, Mamdani's now been mayor for 10 months, 9 months. He was celebrated when he came in, but the people are already turning on Mamdani.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for some more dancing? Oh, no, we're not. We're getting awards. Somebody's getting an award. You want to see who's getting an award? Come on, guys. I want some energy here.
Can't go in public without being booed. That's beautiful. Staten Island taking down Mamdani. Guys, the communists, see, when people were so scared of communists coming out and starting to win races with the Democrats, this is the end. This is the proof. It's all going to hell. We're falling apart. Well, now we're seeing that it's backfiring on them, just as I thought it would, just as President Trump thought it would. And it's continuing to ramp up. Again, the Democrats are fighting within their own party, using money to fight people within their own party. And continues in stuff like this with Fetterman versus Bernie. This is a huge fight going on very publicly right now in the Democratic Party.
But I'd just like to remind everybody watching right now, you know, Bernie Sanders will never represent any more than 640,000 people in Vermont. That's all he's ever done, and he ever will do. You know, he's never won an actual competitive election. And now why can't, you know, stop giving me lectures on how to win. You know, Bernie's not flipping seats. He is helping install volatile and dangerous kinds of candidates and now put, you know, Democratic seats at risk. You know, I've flipped seats. Now, he's never done that thing. You know, I'm tired of his lectures, you know, overall. And now he claims that he's not a member of the Democratic Party. You know, why can't the DSA people just, you know, they should just run and there's their own party. And now I think it's important to remind people, you know, who is driving a lot of this conversation. But I just like to remind everybody.
I love what he says. I can go into the mirror and see I'm ugly. But it's such a good point. It's such a good point. Fetterman, again, being extremely based, that Bernie has no real influence. He's not really adding anything. He doesn't know who he really represents. It's crazy. Whereas Fetterman won in a swing state. But again, calling this stuff out on their own side is huge. Now, the Trump campaign knows exactly what they're doing. Exactly what they're doing. And this is why, again, I have a lot of hope for the midterms. A lot of hope for the midterms. They know the way to win is call out exactly what the real problem is, which is communism. And here's Stephen Miller harping on that message.
We spent decades fighting a Cold War with the Soviet Union. Now, I choose my words carefully, but I'm going to say this tonight. Sean, that Cold War has come home. It's here in America. This is the biggest, greatest, most existential struggle this country will ever face, Sean. Because if communists get control of House seats, then Senate seats, and governor's mansions, the American dream that for 250 years our heroes bled and died for is gone. And it won't come back because they will never let you get it back. President Trump is the only thing right now standing between the American people and that abyss. We spent decades fighting a...
He's 100% right. The Cold War is going on in America right now. And Trump, last night in Vegas, had one of his most fiery speeches he's had in a while. And here you can tell, this is the push heading into the midterms. Lay out the communists and let the people know who they really are.
As communism is the greatest threat to our country in its history, including even World War I, World War II, Pearl Harbor, 9/11. I think it's the greatest threat. I could be the greatest communist in history. I tell everybody here, would you like a free house? We'll take one from your neighbor. Would you like free rent? We'll take it from whoever. We'll take your building away from the landlord that makes 2%, and we'll run the building ourselves. What they don't say, and what Republicans should say, is that at the end of a year, you'll have nothing but death, squalor, poverty. You'll have a life of hell. And that's what happens every single time. You look at Venezuela, where it was such a rich country 20 years ago, 22 years ago, and it happened, and we've really helped them, and we're going to help them. But, you know, they're lucky because they're sitting on massive oil reserves, but we are going to help the people that we want to help. But every time this has happened, and you do that, you go through squalor, and add the word again, filth, crime, death, destruction, embarrassment. You lose your home, you lose your apartment, and that's where the communists will take us 100%. When I watch Abdul, he's full of shit. So, if you remember, during my State of the Union speech from a little while ago, I made a very strong statement. I said that America will never be a socialist country. And I was right. What I didn't say is what they're trying to do, they want to skip socialism. They want to go right down to the bottom of the barrel. That's communism. They want it to be a communist country. We're not letting them have it as a communist country, not even for a minute. Not even for a minute. Together we will defeat communism, socialism, and Marxism in America once and for all. It's defeated. It's going to go down. It always goes down, but sometimes it takes a lot of people with it. It takes too long. You got to nip it in the bud.
So good. So Trump, this is the Trump we need. This is the Trump we need to win our elections back. It is. We need to crush them. And Trump in this mode, this is the mode where he wins. He's going into campaign mode now. And campaign mode Trump is the most effective Trump when it comes to getting the people back on his side. So calling them out communists, causing that stark differentiation between us and them, and then broadcasting the policies that got people on his side again. Here we go. More of Trump's speech.
Every single day we're liberating our communities from the scourge of migrant crime. You saw what happened last week in Spain, where 60,000 migrants stampeded against the border, invaded and occupied the town, attacked innocent citizens, and rioted in the streets. And that's what communists want for America. That's what they were doing to us. Frankly, as bad as that looked, and it looked bad, what they did to us during Biden was worse, and they want to do it again. They want to do it again. The people of Nevada aren't going to let it happen, and your president's not going to let it happen. And so important that, again, we have the strongest border in the history of our country. But right here in Las Vegas, ICE recently arrested an illegal migrant who brutally stabbed and tried to murder his two roommates. He was violent. In Lyon County, ICE arrested an illegal alien convicted of 2 counts of sexually assaulting a child. He was vicious as you could be. The police almost didn't, and they are great. They are law enforcement. We have to have a hand for law enforcement. They said this was so bad, they almost didn't know what to do, but they did know. They take him away. That's why under the Trump administration, we will always stand with ICE and Border Patrol and law enforcement. We will always stand strong with law enforcement.
Winning stuff. And then, of course, the Trump we all love is the Trump off the cuff as he saved this little boy. Watch this.
Sorry, excuse me. I have a little mom brain going on right now. I'm so sorry. No, he's going to take off. Thank you. Thank you. Truly, thank you, Mr. President.
Trump's
It's
still
an honor to be
move.
here today.
Still move for an old man. Look at this movement. Can that kid from fall off the stage? That's the president we love. And I don't think it's any coincidence that as Trump is going after the communist side of things, heading up to the midterms. Remember, it's now August. It is time to start spending that cash, that war chest they built for the midterms. It's campaign time. It's go time. So Trump's in Vegas last night, doing as good as he could as Trump's done. I mean, it's a great speech. And then at the same time, he's got JD Vance going on TV, and JD Vance is really communicating the America First agenda in an excellent way. I mean, like JD or not, this was an excellent interview. Listen to this.
This is exactly what El Sayed and these limousine socialists are actually selling to the American people. They're not promising you industry. They're not promising you good jobs. They're not promising self-sufficiency and a good industrial economy. What they're promising is redistribution. Again, we've seen this in Europe and in the United States. The idea that you can build real prosperity by just redistributing assets from one group to another group, that's not how you build real prosperity. You have to actually sustain the foundation of the economy. That is what the President of the United States has worked us towards for the past 18 months. It's going to continue to pay dividends. But I think, again, Laura, this is an important point. A lot of Americans look at this rising tide of socialism and say, how did we get here? We got here by 40 years of bipartisan leaders selling our industrial base to foreign countries, allowing low-wage immigrants to come in and compete with Americans for jobs, by destroying the foundation of the middle class. That's how you got socialism. How you fix that problem is by doubling down on Donald Trump's economic nationalism, not going back to the way we've done things for the past 40 years.
It's failed everywhere it's tried.
It's failed everywhere it's tried, and it always leads to socialism. It always leads exactly where we are. The only way to get out of it is to double down on the economics of the past 18 months.
So good. Communicating the America First agenda, the Hamiltonian policies that Trump is implementing. And he continued in a really strong fashion.
Media is fascinated by this dynamic, but the simple reality is my job is to pursue the interests of no other nation on earth except for the United States of America. So when our interests are aligned with Israel, we talk about how to accomplish those shared objectives. When my viewpoint is averse to the Prime Minister of Israel, we have a frank conversation about that. I would frankly describe it as a pleasant but direct conversation. I didn't feel confronted.
This is a sticking
media.
This is everything Americans want to hear from him. It's really, really good stuff. He goes on to talk about how they're trying to drive a wedge between him and Trump. This is very good.
This is a sticking point with young voters, the war, the conflict with Iran. We keep hearing there's progress, then 2 days later there's no progress, and more problems in the Strait. What can you tell the American people? I know you don't want to get ahead of the president or the talks.
Sure.
But you were the face of the talks, and a lot of the pre-Trump, Bush-era Republicans are coming after you, saying you own it now, J.D. Vance. So to that you say?
Well, first of all, if they want to make me own the effort to try to bring this war to a successful conclusion, I'm happy to let them make me own it. I am absolutely trying to do that. But to your point, that sometimes requires 1 step forward, 2 steps back, then 3 steps forward and 1 step back. I can certainly understand the American people are maybe looking at this and they say, well, it seems like we're making progress and then it seems like we're not. Well, the reality, Laura, is that number one, the Iranians are extraordinarily difficult people. Number two, they have a fractured system. So there are people within their system who want the war to be over. There are also people within their system who are crazy radicals who want the war to continue. Our job is to navigate through that and get the best outcome for the American people, but for the President of the United States as well. And I do think that where we will ultimately land, it's going to be messy and it's going to take some time to get.
Again, folks, whether you like him or not, this is exactly what the American people need to hear. Exactly. This is exactly the perfect way of communicating what Trump's doing in the Iran war. It's almost perfect. He's nailing it because he's making it sound so matter of fact that this is how you deal with this. This is how we're going to get there. No disagreements. No capitulating, no I'm sorry, no, just authoritative. We are handling this to the best of our ability. It's working out. The Iranians are crazy. He's in complete command. This is exactly what we need. Trump being Trump on the rally stage, and Trump's going to start doing the media circles too. I'm telling you, it's coming. But JD at the same time on the same day giving a very strong interview. This is what we need to get to the American people.
Get there. Where we will ultimately land, as you see, oil, I think, was at $79 today. Those oil prices are going to come down and stay down. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, and the United States will be in a stronger position. But we're kind of in the middle of the game, and I think people are trying to prejudge exactly how this is going to go. I can tell you with confidence it's going to go in a place that is good for the United States of America, but we're going to use all the tools that we have, military, economic, diplomatic, to make sure we bring this thing to the right resolution.
They're trying to drive a wedge between you and Trump. It's clear to me. I mean,
Sure.
it's clear to all of us who kind of were there and the jockeying in 2015,
Yes.
you know, the Jeb Bush. And I know the Jeb has a good relationship with the president now, and that's great to hear. But is there any daylight between you and the president on this?
No, look, the president and I, first of all, he makes the decisions, and we all try to implement the decisions in accordance with the president's wishes. So the president runs this administration. He is the very top of the administration. He makes orders. We, of course, have debates and conversations about what exactly we should do. But when the president of the United States makes a decision, we are unified in this administration in carrying out that mission. What I do think is interesting is that you have people who will attack what the president of the United States has said.
I think this is very important right now. As I've been hearing today, other people who are like, oh, we think Vance is the leaker in the White House. Well, folks, I'm here to tell you something. I've seen, I've been following politics for 25 years, okay? I'm 42. I got into it when I was 17. When you have someone in an administration or someone in a political party that's trying to build themselves up, separate themselves, build a movement behind them separate from what's going. What you do is they play little games where they kind of like, oh yeah, this, but then they talk about themselves. They talk about what we're doing. But I brought to blah, blah, blah. But I decided blah, blah, blah. But I created this. Vance doesn't do any of that. The way he talks about Trump is very honorable. It's very submissive. It is saying, I know who the boss is, and we all come in line. We honor our president. We honor our leader. Folks, that is not what you hear from people who try to distance themselves. I'm sorry, it's just not. Because if he was trying to pull off those people right now upset with Trump, if he was trying to play to the Groyper crowd, to the Tucker Carlson crowd, there would be some distancing. There is zero. And I'm sorry, you don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. But I'm looking at it right here. I'm playing these clips for you. So again, I say this over and over again. I think there's an op on Vance because they're scared of him. That's what I really think the op is about. They're terrified of what he's going to bring in the future. Because again, I keep looking for the evidence and I cannot find it. But I'm open. But all this to say, regardless of what we're looking at in 28, right now, this is exactly what we need for the midterm win. This and what Trump's doing is exactly what we need for the midterms. And then there's this story that's coming out. Now, Washington Post. I don't trust the Washington Post. Just be completely honest with you guys about that. Washington Post, don't trust it. But sometimes something comes out and it's true. We'll have to wait and see on this one. But I'll tell you, one of the ways you know it's wrong, stories from Washington Post, MS Now, whatever name of paper. One of the ways you usually know it's a lie is that it's anonymous sources. This is they're directly quoting Trump here. It says Trump privately told donors he wants President J.D. Vance to win 28. At the end of the day, we need to elect J.D. That's a Trump quote. We can see if Trump debunks it. But again, don't just take it because it's the Washington Post, because then Fox News reported it. I don't trust Fox News either. However, Fox has a very good track record with Trump, covering him directly, and says Trump just has offered his clearest signal yet about who he wants to carry MAGA mantle. Private comments to donors, at the end of the day, we need to elect JD. While sources say the remark isn't a formal endorsement, strongest indication yet. Trump's continued to praise both Vance and Rubio, calling Vance's work on fighting fraud great, while previously hailing Rubio as potentially the greatest Secretary of State in history. He's also previously touted a potential Vance-Rubio ticket as unstoppable, although he stopped short of saying he'll stop the ticket. So we'll not know, but I'm going to tell you guys this, as I've said many times before, whether this is true or not, And I believe there is a lot of truth to this, but I also think Trump holds his options open. Okay, I don't think Trump is 100% decided on who he's going to endorse right now. I don't believe that at all. What I do believe, though, is that Trump is great with Vance and Rubio. I really do. And what I think he's setting up is this. And again, they're friends. I don't think they run against each other. I think one of them chooses it, and that's where we go. Remember, yesterday we covered how the Tucker Carlson crowd, the Joe Kent crowd, is starting to distance themselves from Vance. And that's exactly what many people said they wanted to see. But we'll see how this all plays out. One way or the other, I'm trusting Trump. I'm trusting Trump and going to see how this ends. And then Trump put this out. And this is very interesting to me. And let's go through this about how I think this sets up some confidence for us going forward. Look at this. Michael Moore, the failed political pundit, has been losing to me for years, was ranting. We lost in 24. We can't take it anymore. No, Michael, just get used to more losing. You've been a loser all your life and nothing's going to change. Abdul, your new communist comrade, will not be able to save you. He knows you're a failed lowlife. He wants to pick up where you've left. For thousands of years, the concept of communist policies have never worked and they're not going to work now, especially in a tremendous transformational success the Trump administration has brought forth for the entire world. Best economic numbers ever, best trade numbers, best export, biggest investment, and on and on. This is a golden age of America, and a small group of misfits like you, Abdul, and others won't be able to destroy it and change the course of history in so doing. It's too big, too powerful, and too good. See you on the political battlefield. Folks, I don't know about you guys, but that fires me up. And it also tells me that Trump is planning for the long term. And so whatever it is he's got in his pocket, I believe it's going to build that foundation that's going to be very hard to tear down. And also, Trump's not going to do what Obama did to the Democrats, because lazy Obama did not work to build up the next tier of Democrats. He did not do that at all. He didn't build a bench. He just said, Hillary, you're up, and moved on. Obama's greatest flaw was that he's lazy. He was a Manchurian candidate. He's charismatic. He was smart. They still bring him out sometimes. He was very effective for their positions, but he's lazy. Trump is building something and for the long term. And that, my friends, I think is should give us all a lot of confidence. And for whoever Trump chooses for the future, I'll have 100% confidence in, because Trump knows way more than any of us do, way more. And we got to humble ourselves to understand that. But this also tells me that Trump knows whatever happens come around the midterms and whatever happens after that, we're in control. They're not giving it back to the communists. As Trump has said over and over and over again, we'll never be a communist country. And that, I believe, Trump knows that. He's not just saying it. He knows it because of what they put in place. So that gives me a lot of confidence going forward for the midterms and beyond. All right, hit that like and subscribe, guys. Again, thank you guys for your patience with my microphone being different, being off. I just appreciate you guys watching. I know, listen, I was watching as I spoke. I get all the Vance crap every time I talk about him. It is what it is. Carson Brownie says $5 super chat. Says JD's a great communicator. I think thanks to him coming from dirt poor to now the VP, as well as his natural ability. I agree with you. And, I'm watching this all very carefully. If anything ever does come out on Vance, I will cover it. I've already covered all the stuff people brought up before. I'll continue to do that. I'll do the same with Rubio too. Everybody who thinks Vance is bad because of his past, they like to gloss over all Rubio's flaws from the past too. The fact is, nobody has a perfect past. Nobody. This is what most people are doing to Vance is exactly what people were trying to do with Trump and Epstein. Exactly. Guilt by association. I'm sorry. People can grow. People can mature. Despite popular opinion, people can change. And I'm sorry, when it comes down to it, I'm going to trust whoever Trump trusts, and I'm not going to be arrogant enough to think I know better than Trump. So, you think Vance is bad because he hates America? If you think Vance hates America, that's really, really stupid. You might not be very smart about politics. Let's see here. Al Sayed's like the bad guy from Harold and Kumar. That's hilarious. Michael Moore's transition to left-wing lesbians almost complete. That's great. Obama destroyed the Democratic Party. Well, what he did is Obama purged it of all the moderates. He completely set it on the new path of all-out globalism. And as a result, yes, he destroyed the old Democratic Party completely. They'd always had stuff going on there. Plus, the Clintons accelerated that too. They accelerated that too. Let's see. I tell you what, man, the Vance hatred is just so insane to me. The fact that people actually think they know, and I'm not saying that, if we find out something, okay, but there's very, very few people who've done the research I've done on all these people. And I'm telling you that despite some things that are like weird or a little off, I just don't see the reasons to hate Vance. I just don't. I don't. And again, I'm going to trust Trump. And as long as trust Vance, I will. Trump has not led me wrong this far. He's not led me astray. And so I'm going to trust Trump. I think that's the best way to do it. And as for now, Vance has been doing great stuff. So oh man, we got some feisty people in the chat today. Hey mods, I'm asking you guys to just keep an eye on the chat for the trolls, and we'll take care of them. Okay, let's keep going, shall we? We need to talk about what the Trump administration is actually doing in this advancement for accountability, because one of the main reasons we voted for Trump was for justice, and justice to be brought, drain the swamp, all that. And I'm telling you, we continue to get big wins on this front, but they're not very reported. They're not, so we're going to do our best to go through more of that today. Real quick though, a couple other things coming up. Closer we get to midterms, more of the major world conflicts and global financial markets are escalating. Yeah, that's not a coincidence. It's true. I just don't. I don't understand everybody still thinking that Vance and Rubio are going to run against each other. Rubio's already said he won't. Oh, by the way, guys, you love Rubio so much. You know who else Trump trusts Vance? You know who else trusts Vance? Marco Rubio. They are very close. They're best friends. Out of everybody in Trump's cabinet, they're the closest. So when you guys say you don't trust Vance, you're saying you don't trust Trump and you don't trust Rubio. Okay. You guys make your decisions on that. You guys obviously know more than the people who know these people personally and do the work. I'm just saying, like, come on, are you serious right now? You serious right now? I as of right now, I want Rubio Vance, or Vance Rubio. I want Vance Rubio as a ticket. If it changes, it changes. We'll see. We'll see. I'm open to my mind being changed, but Very open to it. Roy Boy says, I trust Vance 19 times more than DeSantis. Vance publicly apologized to the president. Vance hasn't. You mean DeSantis hasn't. His wife wears the pants. She pushed him in that mess. That's a big part of it. Yeah. And what about Peter Thiel, Sassy? You know, Peter Thiel also endorsed Trump, was the first person to endorse Trump from Silicon Valley in 2016, was at the RNC convention endorsing Trump in 2016. So Peter Thiel supported, he supported Vance, helped him get elected to the Senate with a campaign contribution, $10 million, and that means he's controlled by him? Well, if you trust Trump, why isn't he controlled by Peter Thiel? Peter Thiel endorsed him first. Again, we're playing the connections thing. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't add up. It's just like saying because Trump knew Epstein, he's obviously one of them. Sorry. You know what? As far as Palantir is unwind, I'm ambivalent. I don't like Palantir. I'm skeptical of them, but I also don't believe they're the big bad evil in the world. Because again, I trust President Trump, and the Trump administration is happy to work with them. So I don't know. And I gotta say, every time I listen to Alex Karp or Peter Thiel speak, they're pretty based. They have some crazy beliefs, which will never be implemented, but so do a lot of people. Elon Musk has some crazy beliefs. Doesn't mean it's gonna happen. So, you know, I'm sorry. This stuff's so overblown. People get so scared of the smallest things. You know who the real enemy is? The globalists, the City of London, the people who have actually been hurting our lives, the communists, the Democrats, the establishment Republicans. Those are my real enemies. Palantir hasn't done shit to me. Nothing Palantir's ever done has hurt me, and I don't think they're ever going to have enough power to hurt me. So why would I be so afraid of them? I think that's so retarded. So retarded to just get all upset about this stuff. There are real enemies we're in a fight right now. I'm not worried about it. I'm really not. The tech companies are all evil. I mean, not necessarily. I don't think Tesla is evil. I don't think any of Elon's companies are evil. You know, so I just see now you're painting with broad strokes. You know, and that's the thing. Like, people get so afraid of everything. They're just like, you live in this like fear-based bubble. What if they just have crazy beliefs, but they're not necessarily ever going to be in a position to hurt you? You ever think about that? It's like, we're gonna, like, that's some Tucker Carlson, Thomas Massey nonsense. Like, just like falling into these conspiracy holes where like it's not going to help us. How about we get to the point where you know, if what Trump's doing, if he wins, okay, and this all continues, and we all get more sovereign, and we people have more power, and we stay involved in local politics, we will be able to keep them in check. Do you understand that? That's how we win, is ultimately, because there's always going to be powerful people and bad people, always, until Jesus comes back. So our fight never ends. But if we stay vigilant, if we stay involved, that's how we keep winning. And so I don't have these fears. I just don't have these fears. I also understand the fact, and it is a fact, that all these rich and powerful people run into each other at some point. That's just a fact. So, you know, I mean, sorry, you guys, like, are these people so scared? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Nobody applies to be a mod. I choose my mods based on people I know who have been contributing members to the community, and I trust. They have to, when somebody builds trust with me, they become a mod. And it has to be pretty big trust. I mean, this is my channel. I don't want anybody screwing it up. Diorino says, everyone knows everything about everyone. The blackmail goes away. Well, there you go. Exactly. Exactly. All right. Any last things to get into? Please call more people retards. I love it. Can we stop the war? I mean, I think Trump's trying to. So There you go. Yeah, here's a great point right here by D34. He says, Besant was Soros's engineer of the British pound collapse, and now he's arguably Trump's best general, fighting the economic wars from Treasury. 100%. So if we played the game where, like, just because you worked with somebody or just because you knew somebody, you're always evil, well, then Scott Bessent's evil. And Scott Bessent's been one of the greatest people to ever serve our country in modern times. And so, but that's the game people play with Vance. They allow Bessent, they let him off the hook, they let Rubio off the hook, even though he was a neocon calling for amnesty. They let all these people off the hook, but it's specifically Vance we go after. You want to know how you've been psyoped? You've been psyoped, you've been got when logic fails, when what you're doing is completely illogical. That's how you know you've been psyoped. Dude, we know your Dusty Baker reference. Man, you know, I'd forgotten about that. That's why I missed it. But you're right, 2002. I remember watching that Giants World Series. Okay. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Again, guys, if you want questions, comments, I do stop in the chat in between segments. I want to answer your questions and comments. Please tag me so I can find them. And if you want to support the channel, you can always send a super chat, and those will be guaranteed to be read. So thank you for your attention to this matter. Hey guys, you know how I know? you know how I know people have been psyoped on the Vance stuff? They get all upset about it. As soon as I started talking about Vance, I lost 3 subscribers. There you go. Hilarious. Dems literally at war with their base. Exquisite, says Foundation Preacher. 100%, brother. 100%. Toe says, Bessent's the John Wick of finance. I love it. I love it. Lisa says, many of these guys have turned. Think capitulation, think persuasion. I think what Trump has done is he's turned a lot of people through leverage. But what he also did is he has showed people a better way. See, there's a lot of people who might want good things, but they choose stupid. They choose evil, or they choose the wrong way, or maybe they're duped by their education, and they believe maybe socialism's good, something like that. Okay, but then they're showed there's a better way, and it can wake you up. So not everybody who was on the side of pushing dumb stuff is evil because of that. Okay. Thank you, Rue. I appreciate you. Reef Keepa says, Bessent's on top of the evil idiots. They're terrified of him. 100%. Threads, America, member for 3 months, says America will never be a communist country. I love it. Yep. Good Spirit says, allow me my opinion of politicians like Vance, just my opinion based on my research. How is this even controversial? I don't know. I don't know what your opinion is. But okay, let's get into it. We got more to get to. I got 2 more segments I want to do today. So and then I gotta go hang out with my family at the lake. But anyways, appreciate you guys. Thank you for arguably honorably. Okay, that's how we do it. So let's get into it. The Trump administration's push for justice, for actually getting things done, is continuing, and it's continuing to ramp up. We got really good news today, as Rand Paul, and by the way, this would never have happened under the Biden-Kamala team or Kamala's presidency. So when people say there's no difference, well, sorry, we're getting some wins here. And one of them is that Rand Paul's Senate Homeland Security Committee just voted to hold Fauci in contempt. Here is the latest from Rand Paul and the committee.
Seeing no other motions, the question is on reporting of an original resolution regarding contempt of Congress. The clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Yes.
Senator Langford.
Aye.
Senator Scott.
Yes.
Senator Hawley.
Aye.
Senator Moreno.
On behalf of the millions of people harmed by Anthony Fauci, resoundingly yes.
Senator Ernst.
Aye.
Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
No.
Senator Hassan.
No.
Senator Blumenthal.
No.
Senator Fetterman. No. Senator Kim. No. Senator Gallego.
No by proxy.
Senator Slotkin.
No by proxy.
Senator Paul.
Yes.
A couple of Democrats couldn't even bother to be there, huh? That's interesting. So they voted to hold him in contempt, which now he can have up to a year in prison and a $100,000 fine. No, that's not nearly enough for what Fauci's done, but it's a start, folks. It's a start, and let's hope the DOJ follows through on this, and we see where this goes. But this is a good start, and what's also a good start is that Florida has officially subpoenaed Fauci now. Listen to this.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, Mr. Attorney General, you got the floor. What are you doing?
That's great to be here. Well, just about an hour or two ago, we issued a formal subpoena to Dr. Fauci under Florida state law, seeking a breadth of documents ranging to what he knew, when he knew it, his doubts about the safety and efficacy of vaccines that he's out there promoting. And we're really focused in on his self-dealing. Evidence has come to light that he was trying to personally profit off of this. This is outside of his government duties, his official role. He's trying to pursue book deals, awards, get connected with high rollers that, might help him come into millions and millions of dollars. This is wrong, and it could go towards a deceptive trade practice, fraud, public nuisance, you name it. I think there's many aspects of Florida law that now are implicated.
So what's the evidence that you're pointing at here?
Well, a lot of it, he revealed himself in this diary. We've got communications, emails with subordinates where he's asking them to help work on applications for these awards. We know one award in particular, he made $900,000 on that. Again, this is separate and independent from his government salary.
Good stuff. Remember, the states can still prosecute Fauci even if he has a federal pardon. So Florida's leading the way. Hopefully this opens the door up for much more. And with the state going after him, he could be in serious trouble, way more than a year in prison. And the awakening continues, guys. The awakening continues as Stephen A. Smith continues to harp on Fauci, which is good news. Why? Smith's the biggest name in sports. As far as sports podcasters, millions of listeners who are not MAGA. The awakening is spreading, and as the people keep waking up, there's going to be more chance of getting Fauci the justice he rightly deserves. Here's Smith talking about how Fauci affected him.
Do I think that he should be embarrassed for the self-adulation that he engaged in? You damn right I do. Because some of the things that he was telling us to do was inconsistent with science, but he was telling us it was science that led to him making the decisions that he made. Masking, 6 feet distancing, the closing of businesses, forcing businesses to push those mandates upon people like me and others. Because I took the vaccine, and I took a booster, and I wore a mask. And we were told, hey, you ain't going to get COVID if you do that. And I got COVID. And damn it almost killed me. Going into 2022, I'm in the hospital 90 minutes before the ball is about to drop. And the doctor says, we've been at this for 3+ weeks. You got double pneumonia. You look really bad. If this antibiotic and this steroid does not work, Mr. Smith, I'm sorry, we're going to have to call your family. It looks that bad, but we should know in 3 hours. And through the grace of God, 3 hours later, I felt better after they gave me that steroid and that antibiotic. But those were the longest 3 hours of my life because I thought it was over. And I remember I had done exactly what Dr. Anthony Fauci was imploring us all to do.
You guys think hearings don't matter? You think exposure doesn't matter, never leads to anything? I'm sorry, you're wrong. Stephen A. Smith, Aaron Rodgers, all these people who have millions of fans who vote left or vote independent, who are skeptical of Trump, who never would hear any of this if it didn't come to them. Stephen A. Smith almost died because of Fauci's advice, this is how people wake up. And the more people like this wake up, the more it wakes up a whole lot of others. And it also gives them permission to say the stuff they want to say in the first place. Because now, if they were thinking it, they were scared of their group, and they could say, oh, Stephen A is saying it now, it gives them permission to be outward about it. That is good news. That is winning. And this is why all this exposure matters. Like Catherine Herridge today. More D-class coming from 2020 election. Declassified records challenge claim 2020 most secure in American history. FBI records confirm exfiltration of 630,000 voter files, including non-public information from Maricopa County, of course. FBI confirmed voter records were illegally extracted from the site and identified a suspect who admitted the crime and illegally scraped 630,000 voter files, including 930 sensitive non-public data. They all declined to prosecute this. So they knew it, and they didn't prosecute under Biden. Voter files can be used for identity theft, fraudulent voter registration, as well as targeting individuals for blackmail. It keeps trickling out. It keeps trickling out. The more it trickles out, the more we'll win. The more people are going to wake up. This is very good stuff. Another thing that happened that very few people are going to talk about, that, again, changes that are fixing our nation. Sometimes the little stuff needs to be celebrated as well. Well, this is maybe little, maybe not, but I think it's a big deal. RFK Jr. has decertified Network for Hope over patient safety failures involving organ harvesting processes initiated on patients showing signs of life. That is insane. But many of those who've been paying attention for a long time, the health system knew this. If you're an organ donor, you're giving them permission to go in. Now, they're not supposed to kill you, but many of them will, just to get those organs, make some money. This is crazy. Investigations by HHS, HRSA, CMS, and congressional oversight found persistent patient safety failures, which included organ recovery processes even when patients showed signs of being alive. There's a horrific story of a woman whose brother, I believe, brother or husband, I can't remember which one, was alive as they started to cut him open. And she screamed to stop them as she could see his eyes moving. And so they stopped. She caught it. But they were going to cut open this guy and take his organs. This is happening in America, folks. Again, it's these kind of things that ultimately change stuff. And it's a good news. This just shows what Trump is doing is effective. See, all these changes add up. These changes add up. They break people's funding. Now they can't get that organ money, which creates more justice. The funding is what it all comes down to. They can't do it without resources. All this evil that was happening in our nation, Trump is dismantling it little by little with his team. This goes up to even the White House, where there's been nonstop leaks and lies. Well, the latest being that we are running out of missiles. Well, Trump came out today and said the U.S. has massive amounts of munitions, especially certain types. Additionally, large amounts being manufactured, shipped to the U.S. as needed. Defense companies building the largest number of plants and factories in our country's history. The leakers of these treasonous statements are being hunted down. Long-term jail sentences will be sought. Well, there it is. Knocking out the leaks. This is how the media feeds off of these leaks, by the way, to spread their propaganda, keep people in a dark place, keep people dooming, blackpilling. Well, Trump's cleaning all that up as well. It's all a part. It's all a part of winning, folks. Little by little, you do every little thing. See, there's so many people who have just been upset and waiting for the big stuff. When are we going to get the big stuff? And that's all they want. They want that dopamine hit. Well, I'm here to tell you that the little stuff adding up leads to the big stuff. It leads to tipping points. But this work, all this little stuff going on, it's what adds to a better, long-lasting changes in our country for all the things we wanted. like this. Well, they tried to take our firearms away again, right? Federal judge ruled the major portions of the National Firearms Act are unconstitutional after Congress eliminated certain taxes on suppressors, short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, and other covered firearms. This is great news. Major portions of national firearms are unconstitutional. Give us our 2A rights, baby. Let's keep it coming. This is the courts. This is a big deal. The more this happens, the more freedoms we get. And that helps us hold them in check. This is winning, guys. This is winning. And all this are going to keep throwing out psyops and keep trying to give us stuff that's not true. Look at this. John Solomon, who's now working with the DOJ, by the way, came out and said that this report right here, well-placed sources tell me FBI HQ is inexplicably holding back from declass a 400-page report implicating John Brennan. But it's not true. You see, there is non-stop stuff out there that is being fed to us. It's also lies. And this is why it's so important to follow people who you can trust, who have a track record of trustworthiness. Can you trust these people? I don't know John Solomon personally. I can't tell you I trust him character-wise, but I can tell you he's got a great track record. And so I'm going to trust the people who have a great track record. It's why I trust President Trump. It's why I trust what they're doing. Trust the people who keep following. Otherwise, there's just nonstop psyop information coming out there. Even sometimes that looks good. But when you believe this stuff and it's not true, it can lead you to bad places, especially when if you find out it's not true if you wait a while. But we have our own fights. Like this. Here's where the real block is coming from. John Thune and Tom Cotton, couple of rhinos, blocking Brennan transcripts. Listen to this. Why do you think they're afraid of Todd Blanche coming in? I wonder.
I'm going to go back to being a reporter for a second. I do not know this information from anything I've gained in government. I can tell you with 100% certainty that Republicans are obstructing the investigation into weaponization. There are two Republicans I can name by name, Senator John Thune and Senator Tom Cotton. They have refused for months now. The first request came in late January, early February. They are refusing thus far to provide to Joe DeGenova, to the prosecutors in Florida, to the Miami U.S. Attorney, to the Justice Department, the transcripts of John Brennan's interviews with the Senate Intelligence Committee. They have refused to do so. I'm going to call out a third name because I don't understand the Justice Department's behavior. When a body that's separate of the executive branch doesn't comply, every other time in American history, go back to Iran-Contra, go back to Watergate, the Justice Department subpoenas the Congress. For some reason, the acting Attorney General, who wants to be the permanent Attorney General, has not authorized a subpoena to the United States Senate to get those documents. Those documents will allow the prosecutors in Miami to decide whether the charges are warranted against John Brennan. The idea that Republican senators will not cooperate with the Republican administration is ridiculous politically, but it's illegal. It's obstruction. There ought to be a grand jury subpoena sitting in the Senate clerk's office, and there ought to be a court case yesterday compelling this because the Justice Department has been delayed by 8 months by two Republican senators who have the responsibility and the ability to deliver this. You want to get to the grand conspiracy case, you need the missing evidence, and the Senate possesses it. And as of this date, I can find no evidence they've turned it over, and there is no grand jury subpoena because the clerk of the Senate would have to report it publicly. I just checked the congressional record again today. So Todd Blanche, Tom Cotton, John Thune, you got some explaining to do to the War Room posse.
And this is where you can see the War Room framing. It makes perfect sense why Blanche wouldn't have done it yet. And maybe, and by the way, guys, Trump probably told him not to go after it. He's not blocking it. He hasn't subpoenaed them. Well, why would you not subpoena the two senators holding it up? I can think of a couple reasons. A, you still need to get your votes. You need to get through. You need to get confirmed. He hasn't been confirmed yet. The other reason is you don't want to have the Republicans destroying each other before the midterms. This all makes sense. But again, it just goes to show you how Trump administration is fighting battles still within the own Republican Party. By winning in 24, winning the Senate and the House, Trump basically magnified the House. He gets everything through he wants in the House. But the Senate is the holdover. And this is where a lot of Trump's initiatives are being held up and slowed down in the Senate, the deep state Senate, the rhino Republicans, the establishment Republicans. And here's another perfect example of it. And unfortunately for Trump, one of the difficulties is navigating all this through our system. He has to navigate it legally and he has to navigate politically. Sometimes those things are timing wise, not in conjunction with each other for the best long-term fixes. That's what he's having to navigate right now. Todd Blanche should be confirmed soon. And then the midterms are 3 months away. I'm telling you guys that after the midterms, I think things are going to get very, very spicy because Trump no longer worrying about having to run in 28, no longer having to worry about having his things in order for the last 2 years. He'll be completely able to just go all out. And that's why it's going to get really, really interesting. But for now, just a good reminder that a lot of what Trump's trying to do, it's not that he's not trying to do it. It's that it's being held up between the Senate, between the judiciary, all the judges going against him, you name it. There's a massive, massive deep state problem in this nation, and it takes a while to undo it all. But we're winning, and that's what matters the most. We're winning, and they're not going to be able to stop us. Okay, hit the like and subscribe, guys. I got one last short segment we're going to do today, and we're going to talk about Andrew Wilson went on Rogan, I believe yesterday. The show came out, and pretty much obliterated Candace Owens. So we're gonna have some fun with that, and then I'll be back again tomorrow at 12. But let me get back into the chat, make sure I catch up with you guys before we move on. And let's see here, $2 super chat from Bill Van Horn says, "Go Hawks!" Go Hawks, baby. Seahawks? Blech. No, not okay. I'm not okay with that. Truly not. Let's see here. Trump told Glenn Beck justice is coming. Yeah. You know, somebody I heard was talking the other day about how Glenn Beck surprisingly has been one of the most pro-Trump, understanding what Trump's doing, talking heads out there right now. And I got to agree with that. Beck has been on fire lately, which is good. Good for us, you know, because we have so many others who've just ditched. Ralph says, I got a feeling, John, we don't have the votes soon, will not be majority leader long after the midterms. I think you're right. I think you're right. Anything else here? Anybody? I'm not seeing any tags, so not a lot to get into. Who is this about the... I saw something about the organs real quick here. I guess I lost it. Oh, here it is. Planet J says, the body has to be kept alive for organs to be of use. Never sign up to donate them as you'll be kept alive. Infamous phrase, brain dead is BS. Research it. I mean, I agree. It's gross. I haven't been an organ donor for a long time. A long time. All right. Let's get into the final stuff here. Yes, guess what, folks? A double grifter report day. Yes, that's right. We had our first one, Tucker, at the beginning. And we're doing a second grifter report. I split them up today because it's just too juicy. Needs to be on its own. But the Candace Owens thing is continuing to unwind, and now it's reached Joe Rogan, which is, you know, always a sign. Like Rogan or not, he's still extremely effective as a communicator. He still reaches millions and millions of people, and mostly centrist people, left center, you know, right center, not like true MAGA types. Some listen to him, but it's a big deal when this stuff spreads. And it's just more proof that the whole grifter sphere podcast to stand, fagosphere is collapsing, and it's beautiful. Excuse me. So let's cover this. Yesterday, Andrew Wilson went on Joe Rogan, and Rogan just blasted. Rogan did it, but Rogan had Andrew Wilson blasting Candace Owens with receipts, which is just more proof that Candace Owens and all the grifter stuff. I mean, we just had Tucker's big dud of an announcement last night, his show, all falling apart. And so this is great news for everybody paying attention that he's getting out there. But here's them just absolutely destroying everything about what Candace, Ian, Carroll, this whole group is bringing up on Charlie Kirk.
Whew, I've been off Twitter for a few days. I feel pretty good.
It's good to unplug from Twitter.
Yeah, every now and then I just go in and I'm like, God, who are they mad at now? Oh, God.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
If you went into X tomorrow, let's say, and there was an option there where you could select it and it's like U.S. accounts only. That's all you could see. Do you think that 90% of the traffic for people would go away?
It's true. I would 100% take that. If I could only get U.S. accounts and then maybe some foreign accounts that I want, we need this. Elon, I hope you're listening. I hope you're listening. That would eliminate so much bot traffic.
Giant percentage.
Huge percentage,
Huge
right?
percentage is people being manipulated into arguments. It is a strategy.
By foreign assets,
By
right?
foreign assets.
Yeah.
It is a strategy. It is real. This is not tinfoil hat shit. We brought this up multiple times on the podcast, but I'll bring it up again just for the sake of this. There was an FBI analyst who took a look at Twitter when Elon was buying it, and he estimated that 80% of the traffic is bots.
You guys hear that? 80%. And forgive me for stopping a lot, but Rogan, being a big show, is likely to copyright me if I don't. So I got to be careful here. But here's the deal. 80% bots traffic on Twitter before Elon bought it. Since Elon's bought it, there's still a lot of bots. It's almost impossible to purge all bots. It is difficult unless you just made everybody pay, which then you kind of kill your social media platform. So how do you handle it? Well, they've been purging, but still I'd say that X is probably 40% bots, 50%, 30%. But think about that. If it's not just, it's not just X, it's not just Twitter. It's going to be Facebook, it's going to be Instagram, it's going to be YouTube. Yeah, a lot of the engagement on YouTube is bots in the chats, in even views. It's paid for to boost people. Like, so much of what we see is fake, and that's why track records are so important. You got to follow somebody's track record to know if they're trustworthy, because otherwise they could be being propped up by bots.
This doesn't surprise me. Remember, YouTube did an internal audit. And when they did their internal audit, this was a few years back, and when Susan still ran it, I believe, they did an internal audit and found out that most of the people that they had on YouTube were bots, and they did a great purge.
Wow.
Right? That's where that whole dead internet theory and all that really started to pick up traction, was that, hey, look, a lot of this stuff is bots, foreign accounts, people who are manipulating U.S. Elections. They're manipulating various U.S. interests, and this is happening all over the place.
Yeah.
Right now.
You guys understand now why I'm so quick to block? I block very quickly because trolls are almost always bots. It's just reality. Almost always. Because you know one thing about bots? There's very few bots that are pro-MAGA. Why? Because bots are a tool of bad people in general to make you, and it's not that you couldn't like program some bots for MAGA or push them, but it's very, very rare that bots are MAGA. It's just how it turned out. And you guys do the math on that one. But that's why I block trolls so quickly, because there's a 90 to 95% chance they're a bot every time.
Now you have progressives who are funded by ActBlue, right? And I've proven this. We traced all their money. It's progressives funded by ActBlue who are pushing the same narrative that like Candace Owens and others are pushing on the idea of Charlie Kirk's death and the conspiracy around that. So
they're absolutely being paid to push this?
Well, their stated mission, this particular progressive group, their stated mission was to take down TPUSA. I'll tell you a story. This is the tale of all tales.
Okay.
So Charlie Kirk has this huge outreach program that's happening through TPUSA on these college campuses. He's got viral clip after viral clip after viral clip, and they are going wild. He's going campus to campus. He's doing his thing. He's being dogged by a progressive organization. This progressive organization shows up at almost all of these TPUSA events with the stated mission of trying to create a counter movement to what TPUSA is doing. Now, the woman who heads this particular organization received millions of dollars from Act Blue and other progressive organizations for this stated mission. That same woman right this second works with other X accounts to push the messaging that Charlie Kirk was assassinated by his own TPUSA insider.
Do you hear that? The same progressive movement, people, money, organization that followed Charlie to his events to counter-signal him, to fight against him, to create an opposing movement, is now funding most of what's behind the pushing of the Candace Owens conspiracy narratives. Wow. Is anybody surprised by this? I would think not.
In order to push that narrative forward, because the stated goal still from that organization is to destroy TPUSA.
So how do we know that they...
Which, by the way, is exactly what Candace has been doing the whole time, correct? Trying to destroy TPUSA, that they're behind it all, that they allowed it to happen. Interesting.
They've done this. Are there emails that have been found?
Well, the stated goal of this particular person
is to take down
TPUSA.
Right.
She's very open about that. And then the way that you know that they are talking to these other accounts is because they do it publicly. Those public accounts will talk to this account, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very openly. They reaffirm each other's posts. They say, wow, that's real interesting, this kind of thing. All affirming that same conspiracy that TPUSA was the ones who actually set up and murdered Charlie Kirk. And at millions of dollars in Act Blue funding going towards this. No joke. Anybody can look it up right now. The organization's called Unfuck America.
So how did they...
They were really mad, by the way. That account is really mad about this interview right here because they got outed. By the way, we see this, right? And I show you guys it all the time. How all these people keep propping each other up. I mean, we see it with the whole Tucker Carlson thing. Tucker, Joe, Kent, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, Alex Jones, Dave Smith, they're all propping each other up all the time. Candace Owens is obviously a part of that. But then specifically on like Charlie Kirk stuff, it's Ian Carroll, Baron Coleman, Candace Owens, Owen Schroyer. It's just like nonstop. Pick each other up, like, oh, hey, I see what you said here, repeating. That's interesting. It's all their own little network. It's funny how that all works, right? And then obviously you got the connections to the Dugan network. It's just very interesting.
You think that his organization did this? That they convinced Tyler Robinson to do it, or did they think someone else did it?
I don't think that the progressive organization does believe that TPUSA did this. I think that what they want to do...
Oh, no, I understand that. Yeah. But, what are they trying to say?
Oh, well, here's what the theory is. So take Ian Carroll, within 24 hours after Kirk's death, blames Israel. Within 24 hours.
This is hilarious, by the way, because Joe Rogan's had Ian Carroll on and thought he was like an interesting guy. And Andrew Wilson's just completely blasting him here. But it's true. Within 24 hours of Charlie dying, Ian Carroll was blasting us out. And Candace was doing her shows 2 weeks after Charlie died, going down this rabbit hole.
He says, Israel killed Kirk. That was his tweet, went mega viral. What the conspiracy is on that side is that Israel, along with Erica Kirk and TPUSA insiders, got together with elements of the U.S. government to murder Charlie Kirk because he was going to leave the, quote, pro-Israel cause. That's what the theory is.
Right.
And that he was either murdered, some of them say with a microphone exploding, some of them say with a There was a second shooter, and Robinson's a patsy. It all depends on which theorist you're talking to, but they all work together in the same unison from a single camp, which is interesting.
100% correct. Stuff's so good. Remember, guys, this is going to be listened to by millions of people who are not paying attention doing the work. They're hearing this all for the first time. And as this is spreading, we've already seen the grifters, all their views are heading down, they're losing their influence, less people taking them seriously. Now we got somebody like Andrew Wilson, who's got a massive following, showing up on Rogan, who's got the biggest following, putting this stuff out here. This is how you win. This is why I do what I do. This is why you attack these people, why you show the grift. Because when you do, the exposure spreads, and now it's reaching the apex level. There is no bigger exposure than Rogan. And they go after the whole talk about the 30-06, which, by the way, Rogan is a major shooter. It's a big time in the guns.
It seems like a gunshot wound. It's just hard to imagine that it's a 30-06. That's my issue with it. I look at it and, you know, I've seen takes from guys that are gun experts, and they have a problem with it too. The thing about guns, though, is weird stuff happens constantly when you shoot bones. Like, it is possible that you wouldn't get a pass-through, depending on how it squared the spinal column, depending on how it hit, and depending on what kind of bullet it is. I forget the type.
These are 150 grain core lock soft tips.
That's right.
And they're soft tip.
Right.
So they only have enough of a jacket to keep the bullet together.
Right. The idea is that it expands inside the body, causing massive trauma.
Right.
Right.
Which is why I use them for hunting, and probably you have too.
Yeah. No, I haven't used that particular round.
Gotcha. Remember, the 30-06 used in the M1 Garand was used in World War II, and then it was used in Korea. Before that, we had the 03 Springfield.
We covered all this, but again, I get so many people every time I cover this that the bullet was a soft bullet meant to be stuck in there, that there is all kinds of military analysis that a 30-06 all the time doesn't pass through a person's body, like 15 to 20% of the time. But, you know, who cares about data? Who cares about what's real? We just got to believe our narrative, because one time I shot a 30-06 and went right through him. So it's impossible for it to ever happen. This stuff's so crazy. But these are guys who know guns talking about it now.
It was used heavily in World War I, World War II, and again in Korea. The U.S. Army has studied 30-06 entry wounds in depth and produced many manuals on it, explaining how cavitation works with 30-06 and that the bullet doesn't always penetrate. And that's with full metal jacket rounds that are designed for maximum penetration, not 150 grain core locked coming out of an antique rifle, essentially. It could easily split up very quickly. And that's why they ended up pulling fragments out of Charlie. It wouldn't surprise me if when we have all of the data from the coroner report that he has tons of shards all throughout his chest, all throughout his entire, because they were saying that there's trauma inside the chest, which would make sense if the bullet split up here. Right. It would create all sorts of fragments down in the chest.
Yep, 100%. See, it's amazing what happens when real people... real people actually break this down. I'm sorry, and you know, inevitably this is what's going to happen. The experts that Candace Owens has interviewed, the gun experts, they say the opposite. Well, it's like, but there's hundreds of experts who disagree, and that's the problem with just saying the experts said. That's why you have to have experts with data. Exactly, you have to have experts with long-term experience. And that's what, but again, you know, it's one of my favorite things is doing these Candace videos, because I get so many bots and trolls afterwards, and so many, because it's just a wonderful thing to see, because it also affirms that Candace has her little army. Some of them are true believers, but most of them are paid bots to go attack anybody attacking Candace. And so again, it's well worth getting this all out there as it just keeps breaking apart her narrative. Here's them addressing the whole microphone exploding conspiracy.
A lot of people had takes on the shooting, and the microphone one was the weirdest one to me. It's weird because there's no, like, yeah, the shirt is moving, but also a bullet is going like how many feet per second, whizzing through the air? Like, do you
It
understand?
splits air.
Yeah.
So where's
people,
the air going to go?
People don't understand that.
You know what got me, though? So I
What?
went back and looked because they say that it's the same explosive which was used inside the Israeli pagers. Now, that was very real. Israel sent these pagers
but that would
all over.
be an explosion. That's my take. My point is like there's no indication that there's an ignition.
It's worse. There's no smoke.
Right.
There's no now all the
Yeah.
Israeli. If you pulled up right now one of these Israeli pagers going, because there's tons of videos of them.
Oh, really? Let's watch.
Yeah.
Let me see some Israeli
You're going to
pagers
see smoke
blowing off.
There's smoke.
Is there a dude like where it's on his hip?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. There's one where it's on his hip and gets him.
Oh.
And you can see the cloud of smoke coming off because of the specific type of ignition from
Right,
this
but is it
explosive.
possible that this pager thing is different than whatever they think this microphone thing is? This microphone thing has some sort of a different kind of propellant.
No,
but then
they-
again, you'd have to like, okay, let's imagine what kind of propellant exists, right? Compressed air. There's not enough room in that microphone to get enough compressed air to blow a hole in your neck and kill you instantly.
This is the best explanation I've heard yet. You know, Rogan, he's not the brightest guy in the world, but he has common sense. And I'll be honest, like when Rogan has a good guest on, it's a great show. I've enjoyed many Rogan podcasts. Again, but it depends on the guest. It's completely dependent on the guest because Rogan will jump in kind of on whoever's there and he'll act curious. But there are times where Rogan has been like, you can kind of tell he's like, this guy's full of it. But Rogan knows a couple things. He knows martial arts, he knows ballistics, he knows UFC, and so in the areas he knows, he can be very smart. This is a great explanation. That little mic never would have had enough air within it to do what they said it did.
Well, they claim that it's
unless it's something else.
It's this, what is it, PETN explosive. This is the particular type that had to be used for the size of the microphone. But you have another problem. The mic's on the wrong side of where the wound is.
Right.
The other is there's no burn marks. There's no smoke. There's nothing. There's nothing to confirm this theory at all.
You'd have to guess where that mic is because he's moving around too. You have to guess where that mic is pointed. You could take someone out.
So I found
on
two
the side.
videos.
This one's
is the
great.
main one that goes. I'll show you. This happens again here.
Watch the smoke.
Right here.
See all that smoke?
That's another great point. Charlie would have been moving it around, so that you would have had no guarantee that it would hit. It would have made no sense to use the microphone. It just would have not made any sense to do it. What if they swapped a different microphone? So again, the lies are falling apart in real time. It makes me very happy. It makes me very happy to see this. I'm just and you know, awakening is important. When you have an awakening, when people see truth, their minds start to open a little bit. When that happens, they either get angry or they start asking questions. But that movement is where change comes. And what we got to do, this stuff has to continue getting out there. That's why I'm not going to be silent about this stuff. I get it all the time. Stop giving them attention. Guys, giving them attention is how you beat them. You understand? You beat their arguments, and it's working. We're starting to get stuff like this, like quartering post. Candace Owens fans are turning on a great awakening has begun, but we're starting to see a lot of this. Here's a great example. Dare I say it, I'll always speak my mind. I'm starting to get irritated with Candace. You can only tell your audience you guys have no idea what I'm sitting on for so long before we start to get antsy. Yesterday's episode was a nothing burger. At the very least, we need to see a picture of Erica at Candlewood. She has denied she was there, so the trap's set. What are we waiting for? Not trying to go full Bednar's here, but give a dog a bone. These are her viewers. For 1 year, Candace has been saying, I have all this evidence and I'm not revealing it. Oh, you guys don't know. They're getting worn down. The grift is ending, folks, for all these people. Candace is one of the big ones. She's one of the big ones. Again, when you go all in on a lie, you better be able to back it up. Because eventually, people wear out. Their patience wears thin. We're watching in real time as Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Alex Jones, you name it, all of them, Dave Smith, Kyle Seraphin, it's all collapsing on them because the Trump administration, in our time, MAGA, the MAGA movement, even with Charlie Kirk, all this stuff, they have so long, the psyops have been so big and so intensive and so direct and so nonstop that people are starting to wake up. because, again, just like in this post here, how long can you say you guys have no idea what I'm sitting on so long? People are done. They're done. They're tired of it. That's why their views are in half. So we got to keep calling them out their BS, and it'll just wear thin. It'll wear thinner and thinner. But it's not long before Candace Owens is just going to be somebody off in the distance who we all laugh at with her very few followers. But as far as national prominence, guys, this is falling away for Candace and all these others very quickly. It's a beautiful time to be alive. Okay, hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today at the lake. Again, appreciate the patience with my mic. Tomorrow will be the last day with my sound like this. Once I get back home, the sound will be back to normal. So, but let me catch up. I did see a couple super chats come in, so I want to make sure I didn't miss those. Big Chungus, $5 super chat, says, nobody can argue Fuentes is smart, talented, funny. I think it's a shame he refuses to acknowledge the actual head of the snake. Well, he's not going to, because Fuentes he's got his own grift going on. But I agree with you that he's smart and funny. Doc, no. Best new label for Candace fanatics, fat kirkers or flat kirkers. That's hilarious. Well done, Doc, no. Thank you for the super chat, friend. I appreciate that. That's hilarious. Flat kirkers. That is great. That is great. Waffles Bacon says, Epstein op, Palestine op, CK conspiracy op. Yeah, I mean, they use all that stuff for ops over and over and over again, trying to get people just to turn on MAGA, turn on Trump. It's the darndest thing. Oh God, see, I told you guys, the bots. This is so funny. So Sedona, who was blocked, good job, Mod, says a third party's coming soon. It's what America needs. America first. Tucker Carlson, Candace 28. Please, does anybody actually think that's a real comment or if that's a bot? That is a bot 100 times. 100 times out of 100. People come on my show, just randomly say that with emojis. Yeah, that's a bot. That's a bot. That's hilarious. I love when the bots show up. Let's see. Juan Free with a $2 super chat. F them all. Yeah, I mean, the grifters. Yeah, I hear you, brother. Thank you for the super chat. My true crime coach who has been breaking down Epstein files, missing scientist deep dives. Interesting, Diane. Yeah, I did a whole lot of breakdown as well on Epstein stuff. You can go to my Epstein. I've done dozens of hours on Epstein. Sassy Robin, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Trust me, I don't trust Fuentes. Listen, guys, everybody who, I was laughing at Fuentes' videos earlier. I was celebrating how he was calling out Tucker, but do not think for 1 second that I am supporting Nick Fuentes as an important part of our movement. The guy, seriously, I still think he's a Fed, but that doesn't mean that sometimes he doesn't do, something great. And I explained that in my video why I was sharing it. All right, guys. Well, listen, love you. I gotta get out of here, get back to my kids, my family here at the lake. But you guys have a blessed day. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for being patient with my sound. And I'll be back tomorrow to do it one more time here at the lake. But you guys have a blessed day. I hope wherever you're at, you have fun. You keep growing, and we're gonna keep winning. That's what we're gonna do. So let's pray and we'll call it a day. So Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless everybody watching, God. And Father, we thank you for exposure that's spreading and increasing quickly. And Father, the justice that will follow as a result. Father, we ask that you would just lead, God, lead us to do what parts we can play in making our country better for the next generations. And God, I pray that you just protect President Trump, give him wisdom in his decisions, how to do all this. Everybody working with him, God, you protect. And God, I just pray you bring to the surface everything we need to know to make our best decisions in voting, how we can help this country, even in our own lives, whatever it is, Father. Just pray, God, you just keep exposing all the lies, all the psyops, all the corruption, that's been going on. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, love you guys. Bless you, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care.
Headlines screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack.